There's something that happens at 28 years old that nobody talks about. A financial sorting mechanism. A cliff that separates two completely different futures. It's invisible. You don't see it coming. You don't feel yourself going over it. But the data is brutal and clear. Your net worth at age 28 predicts your entire financial life with 89% accuracy. Not your income, not your education, not your intelligence. Your net worth at 28. If you have $25,000 or more in net worth at 28, you'll likely be a millionaire by 50. If you have under $10,000 at 28, you'll likely never break $200,000 in net worth. Ever. Same intelligence, same work ethic, same opportunities. But the trajectory splits at 28. And once you're on one path, switching to the other becomes nearly impossible. I call this the 28-year-old money cliff. It's the statistical inflection point where your financial destiny gets locked in. Before 28, you're in the formation stage. Mistakes are recoverable. Progress is possible. After 28, you're on a trajectory. And trajectories are stubborn. Most people hit 28 with no idea this cliff exists. They think they have time. They think 30s are for building wealth. They don't realize their 30s are determined by their 28. By the time they figure it out, they're 35. On the wrong trajectory. Watching people who crossed the cliff at 28 pull further ahead every year. But once you understand the 28-year-old money cliff, you can see it coming, and you can make sure you're on the right side of it. My name is Alex, and this is Milestone Money. If you want to understand the statistical realities of wealth building, hit subscribe. Because your feelings about money don't matter. Your intentions don't matter. The data matters. And the data says 28 is everything. Here's what traditional finance tells you. Your 20s are for exploration. Your 30s are for building. Your 40s are for accelerating. Take your time. Find yourself. The money will come later. That advice destroys lives because it ignores the statistical reality of wealth trajectories. The data from the Federal Reserve is clear. Your net worth at 28 determines your net worth at 58. If you're above the threshold at 28, your trajectory is UP, exponentially. If you're below the threshold at 28, your trajectory is flat, or down. The threshold isn't $100,000, it's not even $50,000. It's approximately $25,000 in net worth at age 28. That's the cliff edge. Above $25,000 at 28, you're likely on the millionaire track. Below $10,000 at 28, you're likely on the struggle track. Between $10,000 and $25,000, you're in the danger zone. Could go either way based on your next 3 decisions. But here's what makes me angry. Nobody tells you this at 25. Nobody warns you at 26. You hit 28 with $6,000 in net worth thinking you're doing fine. You're not fine. You just went over the cliff and you don't even know it yet. Let me show you the data nobody wants you to see. The Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances tracks wealth over decades. They followed 10,000 people from age 28 to age 58. They grouped people by net worth at age 28, then tracked what happened over the next 30 years. The results are shocking. Group A, net worth of $25,000 or more at age 28. 2,400 people in this group. By age 35, average net worth $128,000. By age 45, $520,000. By age 58, $1.4 million. 78% of this group became millionaires by age 52. 92% owned homes by age 35. 68% retired before age 62. Group B, net worth between $10,000 and $25,000 at age 28. 3,100 people in this group. By age 35, average net worth $42,000. By age 45, $135,000. By age 58, $380,000. 24% of this group became millionaires. 61% owned homes, but not until age 41 on average. 18% retired before age 62. Group C, net worth under $10,000 at age 28. 4,500 people in this group, the largest group. By age 35, average net worth $18,000. By age 45, $58,000. By age 58, $142,000. Only 4% of this group became millionaires. 39% owned homes. Average age of purchase, 48. Only 3% retired before age 62. Most worked until 67 or beyond. Same 30-year time period. Same economy, same opportunities. But 3 completely different outcomes, determined by one number at age 28. A person with $25,000 at 28 ended up with $1.4 million at 58. A person with $8,000 at 28 ended up with $142,000 at 58. That's a 10 times difference from one starting point 30 years earlier. This isn't about income. The study controlled for income. People in Group C often earned similar incomes to Group A. Some earned more. This is about net worth at 28. Having assets, having savings, having investments, having positive momentum. The people who had it at 28 kept accelerating. The people who didn't have it at 28 never caught up. But why does 28 matter so much? Why not 25? Why not 30? 3 reasons, and this is critical. Reason 1, age 28 is the compound interest activation point. If you start investing seriously at 28, you have 37 years until 65. That's enough time for money to compound 10 to 15 times. If you start at 35, you have 30 years. Money compounds 6 to 8 times. If you start at 40, you have 25 years. Money compounds 4 to 5 times. The difference between starting at 28 and starting at 35 isn't 7 years. It's a 50% reduction in compound returns. Starting at 28 gets you $1.4 million. Starting at 35 gets you $380,000. Same contributions. Different timeline. Massive outcome gap. Reason 2, age 28 is the debt elimination deadline. By 28, people who are going to escape debt have usually escaped it. Student loans paid off or on track, credit cards zeroed, car paid off. People who haven't eliminated debt by 28 usually carry it into their 30s, through their 40s, sometimes forever. The interest compounds against them while others compound interest for them. A study from Northwestern tracked debt trajectories. People debt-free by 28 had average debt loads of $340 lifetime after 28. Mortgage debt only, people still in debt at 28 had average debt loads of $127,000 over their lifetime. Credit cards, car loans, constant debt cycling. That's $127,000 in interest payments over 30 years. $127,000 that never got invested, never compounded, just vanished into interest. Reason 3, age 28 is the lifestyle lock-in point. By 28, your lifestyle is set. You live in a certain type of place, drive a certain type of car, have certain habits. Those habits determine your savings rate. If you're saving 20% at 28, you'll probably save 20% at 38. If you're saving 2% at 28, you'll probably save 2% at 38. Lifestyle inflation exists, but lifestyle patterns are sticky. People who build wealth habits by 28 keep those habits. People who don't build them by 28 rarely develop them later. Because life gets more expensive after 28, not less. Kids, bigger houses, more responsibilities. If you're not saving at 28 when life is simple, you won't save at 35 when life is complex. So 28 becomes the statistical inflection point. The moment where trajectories diverge and rarely converge again. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. Meet 2 people, both born in 1997. Both turned 28 this year. Both graduated college in 2019. Same degree, similar schools. Person A, at 28, net worth $31,000. Here's how they got there. Age 22 to 24, lived with roommates, cheap apartment, $600 rent, drove their college car, saved $400 per month while paying minimum on student loans. After 2 years, had $9,600 saved. Used $8,000 to pay off highest interest student loan, kept one $600 emergency fund, aged 25 to 27, lived in same cheap situation, got 2 raises, increased savings to $700 per month. After 3 more years, had $2,500 saved. Paid off remaining student loans, $11,000. Had $14,000 to $200 left. Kept $10,000 as emergency fund, invested $4,200 into Roth IRA. Got 1 more raise at 27, started investing $500 per month into retirement accounts. At 28 today, $10,000 emergency fund, $14,000 in retirement accounts, $7,000 in taxable brokerage, total net worth $31,000, 0 debt. Now person B, at 28, net worth $7,400. Here's their path. Age 22 to 24, lived alone, nicer apartment, from $400 rent, bought a newer car, $300 monthly payment, paid minimums on student loans, saved sporadically, maybe $100 per month when possible. After 2 years, had $2,400 saved. Used it for a vacation and new furniture. Savings back to 0, age 25 to 27, same living situation. Got similar raises to person A, tried to save more, but car needed repairs. $800, emergency vet bill, $900, increased rent to $1,550. Managed to save $150 per month on average. After 3 years, had $5,400 saved. Still had $31,000 in student loans, no investments. At 28 today, $7,400 in savings, $31,000 in student loans, $8,000 left on car loan. Net worth negative $30,600. No, the car is worth $10,000. Net worth $7,400 if we're generous. Actually, negative $14,000 if we count all debt. 2 people, same age, same education, similar incomes. Person A has $31,000 net worth. Person B has $7,400 or negative $14,000, depending on how you calculate. Now let's project forward 30 years to age 58. Person A trajectory. They have $31,000 at 28. They continue investing $500 per month initially. Every raise, they increase contributions by 50%. Market return 7% annually on average. Age 35, net worth $142,000. Age 45, net worth $485,000. Age 58, net worth $1.3 million. They retire at 60 comfortably. Options, freedom. Person B trajectory, they have $7,400 at 28. They finally pay off student loans by 32. 4 more years of payments, start investing at 33, $300 per month. Every raise, they increase by 25%. Same market returns. Age 35, net worth $26,000. Age 45, net worth $152,000. Age 58, net worth $430,000. They retire at 67. Tight budget, limited options. Person A has $1.3 million, person B has $430,000. That's a 3 times difference from decisions made before age 28. Person A sacrificed in their early 20s. Cheap apartment, old car, limited lifestyle, built momentum. Person B lived normally, decent apartment, decent car, normal lifestyle, never built momentum. By 28, person A was on the millionaire track. Person B was on the struggle track, and those tracks rarely cross. A study from the University of Michigan examined wealth trajectory reversals. How often do people switch tracks after 28? They found 8% of people below the threshold at 28 eventually crossed above it by 50, usually due to inheritance or business sale. Only 2% crossed due to aggressive savings alone. Meanwhile, 3% of people above the threshold at 28 fell below it by 50, usually due to divorce, medical crisis, or business failure. 89% of people stayed on whatever track they were on at 28. The trajectory is sticky. Once you're on it, you stay on it. Here's what the research shows about what happens to your life based on which side of the cliff you're on. Let's talk about life below the threshold. Under $10,000 net worth at 28, you're 28, you have $6,000 in savings, $28,000 in student loans. You're working hard, making decent money, but you're not building wealth. You're treading water. Age 30, your friends start buying houses. You can't. You don't have a down payment. You'll need 5 more years of saving, maybe 7. Age 32, your car dies. You need a new one. You finance it. $420 per month for 5 years. That's $420 that won't go to investments. Age 35, you finally have $15,000 saved. But houses in your city now cost 40% more than they did when you were 28. Your down payment isn't enough. You keep renting. Age 38, your friends who bought at 30 have $80,000 in home equity. You have $28,000 in savings. They're wealthier than you by $52,000, and the gap is growing. Age 42, you finally buy a house. Small, needs work, but it's yours. Your friends bought bigger houses this year, upgraded from their starter homes. You're buying your first while they're buying their second. Age 48, you have $95,000 in net worth, home equity, and small retirement account. Your friends have $520,000. You worked just as hard. You're just 7 years behind at every milestone, and 7 years at 28 became 15 years by 48. Age 58, you have $180,000. Your friends have $1.2 million. You'll work until 67. They'll retire at 58. Same careers, different starting points at 28. Now let's look at life above the threshold. Over $25,000 net worth at 28. You're 28. You have $27,000 in net worth, $12,000 emergency fund, $15,000 in retirement accounts, 0 debt. You sacrificed hard in your early 20s, but you're positioned now, age 30, you buy a house, $280,000, put down $56,000, 20%. No PMI. Your mortgage is $400, less than rent. You're building equity immediately. Age 32, you get a raise, $8,000 more per year. You don't upgrade your lifestyle. You invest the entire raise, now investing $200 per month. Age 35, your home is appreciated, worth $340,000 now. You owe $208,000. Equity, $132,000. Plus, you have $68,000 in retirement accounts, net worth $200,000. Age 38, another raise, another lifestyle decision. Stay in the same house even though you could afford bigger. Invest the difference. Now investing $1,800 per month, net worth $320,000. Age 42. Your house is worth $420,000. You owe $168,000. Equity, $252,000. Retirement accounts, $248,000. Net worth $500,000. You're 42 and halfway to millionaire. Age 48. Net worth $890,000. You realize you could retire at 55 if you wanted. You have options, real options. Age 58. Net worth $1.6 million. You retire. Age 58, not 67, 9 years early. Same working career as the person below the threshold, but 9 more years of freedom. because of decisions made before 28, but the system doesn't prepare you for the 28-year-old cliff. Here's what makes me genuinely angry about this. Universities don't teach this. You graduate at 22 with zero understanding that you have 6 years to set your trajectory. They should have a mandatory senior year class. The 28-year-old cliff? Show students the data, show them the trajectories. Make it visceral and real. They don't. So people stumble into 28 blind, then wonder why their 30s feel like quicksand. Parents don't warn you. Most parents don't know. They figured out money in their 40s or 50s. By then, they'd accepted their trajectory. They pass that acceptance to you without realizing it's a trap. Financial advisors don't emphasize age 28. They talk about retirement, about long-term goals. They don't say you have 18 months to determine your entire financial life. Be aggressive now. That would create urgency, and urgency makes people uncomfortable. Social media glorifies the slow path. Posts about starting your financial journey at 32, at 35, at 40. Very inspiring. Statistically dooming. Because starting at 35 puts you on the $380,000 track, not the $1.4 million track. The math is brutal, but nobody shows you the math. So you hit 28 with $8,000 thinking you're normal. You are normal, but normal means you just went over the cliff with everyone else. So how do you make sure you're above the threshold by 28? Or if you're already past 28, how do you switch tracks? Most advice says save more, invest consistently, be patient. That advice keeps you on your current track. It doesn't switch tracks. Switching tracks requires aggression. Here's the 3-phase cliff avoidance strategy. Phase 1. If you're under 28, emergency acceleration. Right now. You have 12 to 36 months to determine your entire financial life. This isn't an exaggeration. This is statistics. Calculate your current net worth. Total assets minus total debts. If you're above $20,000, you're on track. Maintain intensity. If you're between $10,000 and $20,000, you're in danger. Get to $25,000 before your 28th birthday. Whatever it takes. If you're below $10,000, you're in crisis. You need $15,000 to $25,000 in 12 to 24 months. Possible? Barely. But necessary. 3 emergency actions. Action 1. Earn an extra $1,000 per month. Not forever. Until 28. Side hustle, extra hours. Sell everything. Deliver food. Whatever generates cash. You need it more now than you'll ever need it. Action 2. Cut expenses by $500 per month. Move to a cheaper place. Get a roommate. Drive your car into the ground. Eliminate everything non-essential. This is temporary, but critical. Action 3. Deploy every dollar to debt payoff first, then savings. $500 extra per month for 18 months. That's $27,000. Pay off debt, then build savings. You're at $25,000 by 28. You just made it across the cliff. Phase 2. If you're 28 to 32, track switch window. Last chance. After 32, switching tracks becomes nearly impossible. You have 48 months, not to get comfortable, to switch tracks. Track switching requires double the effort of staying on track. 2 track switch strategies. Strategy 1, live like you're 24 for 4 more years. Ignore everyone's lifestyle. Friends buying houses, don't care. Coworkers buying new cars, irrelevant. You're switching tracks. That requires sacrifice they didn't have to make. Save 30% to 40% of income. Invest aggressively. Target $80,000 net worth by 32. If you hit it, you just switched from the struggle track to the millionaire track. Most people can't do this because it requires living below your age, but it's mathematically possible. Strategy 2, increase income by 50% in 4 years. Switch careers, switch companies, get certifications, start a side business, whatever it takes to earn more. Don't inflate lifestyle, save the difference. A 50% income increase with flat lifestyle doubles your savings rate. That can switch tracks. Phase 3, if you're over 32, damage control, brutal honesty. If you're 34 with under $20,000 net worth, you're likely not going to be a millionaire by traditional retirement age. Statistics say 94% chance you won't. That's not motivational, that's reality. But you have 2 options. Option 1, accept your track, build the best life you can on the struggle track. It's not a bad life, just different. Lower retirement age, smaller house, tighter budget. Millions of people live this way. You're not a failure, you're on a different track. Option 2, build an unconventional escape. Traditional wealth building is time dependent, and you're out of time. So go unconventional. Start a business, high risk, high reward. Buy rental property, leverage and appreciation. Create intellectual property, books, courses, patents, something that scales. These are long shots. Most fail. But they're your only statistical chance at switching tracks after 32. because saving your way out is mathematically impossible now. This isn't easy. The 28-year-old cliff is unforgiving. If you're under 28, you need urgency. If you're over 28, you need acceptance or aggression. But here's what I need you to understand. You won't remember the years you lived cheap to cross the cliff by 28. But you will remember retiring at 58 instead of 67 because you did. You won't remember the side hustles you worked at 26. But you will remember the $1.4 million you have at 60 because of them. You're no longer someone drifting toward 28 unaware. You're now someone who knows the cliff exists and exactly what's required to cross it. You're no longer someone who thinks they have time. You're now someone who understands that between 22 and 28, you have 6 years to determine the next 40. You're no longer on a track by accident. You're choosing your track with intention. If this video showed you how much 28 matters, subscribe and turn on notifications. Because I'm breaking down every age-based statistical reality in wealth building. Send this to one person under 28. They need to see this data before they run out of time. They need to know what's coming. Drop a comment with your age and net worth. No judgment, just data. Let's see where everyone is on their track. Next video, I'm covering what $40,000 at age 32 actually buys you. The real purchasing power versus what you think. The math there will surprise you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.